What's up, team? Welcome to today. This is Coach James, and welcome to the podcast, JT Health and Wellness. Very excited about this new venture, about this new adventure that we are on. And let's get right to it. These are 7 things that'll help you stand out in the crowd, no matter what the vocation, what the situation, whether it's a date, whether it's an interview, whether it's just your lifestyle in general. So, I had the opportunity to attend a college fair with my son, who's a senior in high school, and I was uber excited for the little guy. Not really a little guy anymore, but the point is, he had his suit on, he had his tie on, he looked dapper, he had his briefcase with his transcripts, he had business cards, a cell phone. The guy was literally CEO of the show. That show was his life. So, again, college fair, 20 plus colleges there, from private schools to state colleges, everybody. And it was fun to really see him in action. Now, of course, as a dad, I'm super excited. So I'm giving him all of this advice. And at one point, he literally was like, Dad, he looked at me like, please get out of my face, right? So, of course, after about 4 or 5 colleges, I had to back off. Because, again, it's his show. He's at that pre-grown up stage where he's making these strong decisions. But what I wanted to share with you were a few of the things that I shared with him that I believe any of us can use to stand out in this crowded world, right? So this is 7 things that'll help you stand out from the crowd, that'll help you kind of peer above everybody that's on that same platform, so to speak. You know, whether you're in the world of fitness, whether you're going out, in search of love, whether you're going out again for that interview, and even for him, as it applied to his college tour, his college search. So, in thought on that story, he was accepted by a very prestigious college out in Alabama. He received a scholarship to another school out here in California. So, very good stuff. And if you hear any background noise, it is because we are outdoors and we are enjoying this outdoors. So, this message is brought to you by a very new group that we're promoting here. It's called the 3-Day Refresh Group. That is where you just need to sort of reset your insides, right? So it's just a 3-day fitness boot camp where we provide everything you need, and you'll get the opportunity to shed a few pounds, reset your body in preparation for that new workout or new program you will be doing going forward. So check that out. I'll make sure I put a link in the show notes here. But other than that, in the show description, I mean. So let's get right to it. So 7 things. One of the first things I told them is let them tell you no, right? Now, let me unpack that just a little bit. When I say let them tell you no, really what I'm saying is keep your options open, right? Because there were several schools there that he said he didn't have any interest in. But because they were there, I told him just simply take a look anyway. Give it a shot anyway. Talk to him anyway, because you may have that aha moment and, you learn something new about a school and it's like, maybe I'll consider it. But if you tell them no, you're never going to have that opportunity. Therefore, you're reducing your options. So I'm a big believer in, take your options. And if you want to be the ultimate creator of your life, put those options on a table and then you decide versus just casting them out in general. So that was one of the first things I said. The second thing is don't be ashamed of who you are. I think in today's world, we are very, on some levels, jaded, especially in fitness. I see a lot of people, they're posting before and after pics, and if they got great after pics, they're great. But there's a lot of people who are intimidated by that process. They're intimidated even by how fit people look. So one of the things I think that'll help you to stand out is really to don't be ashamed of who you are. Embrace who you are. Embrace where you are going, because that's the first, I believe, one of the first breakthroughs. You're never going to get anywhere if you're walking in shame, so to speak. So third thing I shared with them is be dynamic. Now, that looks different for all of us. So I'm not telling you to be something that you're not. I'm not telling you to act a certain way. I'm just simply saying be dynamic. Now, you'll have to discover what your dynamicness is, So I love to speak. I love to talk. I'm smiling, eye contact, shaking hands. I'm a very high touch individual. So that's how I express my dynamicism. Sorry about that. For you, it could be more of a low key approach. But the point is, again, you're just simply embracing that aspect of who you are, defining it for yourself. So, fourth thing I told him was own the moment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know you can relate to this. That's like your first impression, is your best impression, or it should be. Now, there's no pressure, right, to be perfect or to be right or to be anything other than what you are in that moment. But because it's your moment, own it. If you're bombing, own it. If you're having uber success in that moment, own it, right? When you're sitting in front of that panel of interview people, and you're looking to get that job, own the moment. Why? Because once it passes, it's over. So really embrace and enjoy it and own it. Fifth thing I think is underrated is be honest and transparent. Now that might be something that seems obvious. That might be something that most people say, hey, I'm already doing. But the truth of the matter is, it is one thing. I think it's sort of like common sense. It's very underrated. It's not used very much. And it's something that's becoming exotic. So now even something as simple as being honest and transparent is now standing out. Why? Because everybody wants to impress you. In fitness, I know people who jumble off every, scientific, anatomical, biological word they can think of to make themselves sound like that guy. They have that look. I know guys who will try to impress you with their cars and their jobs. And of course, if you're on an interview, you're trying to say all the right things to get this person to say yes. You can relate. You've been out on a date. But what is really sexy, what is really in style, it's almost a retro thing, is to be honest and transparent. You know what? Hey, I don't have it all together. And I've had 500 dates. Or, man, I've been divorced 3 times. Or I've had 5 jobs in 6 years, right? It sounds bad on some levels. But it's something about that people are gravitating toward. A person who can own their mistakes, who can accept that, hey, I've made some mistakes, but I'm trying to get better. That honesty, that transparency, that is really, really sexy. So if you just embrace that aspect of who you are, you will catapult your life forward, 100-fold. I know that's a big number, but I promise you, the world becomes different. It's an amazing thing. The 6th thing I shared was, hey, ask at least one good question. When I took my son, and that is an airplane overhead, so let's pause for the calls. Okay, sorry about that. So the 6th thing I said to him was ask one good question. And let me share the importance of that. Again, we are in a very crowded social media, techie type driven world where we're plugged in via computers, cell phones, tablets. Hell, even our TVs are smart now. So we are literally a 24/7 society. So, and with that, of course, especially with the likes of your Facebooks and your YouTubes and all these other different applications that are coming along, everybody has a platform. So it's much more crowded on the stage, so to speak. So it's much harder to sort of stand out, even if you're unique, even if you've done all those other things. Asking one good question is a great way to really stand out. When I was at the college fair, what I noticed was students, parents, they're visiting each college station, they're filling out the little forms, and then they're dropping those forms, in the little basket. What I didn't see was any real human engagement, between that person who could stick you in that college and between, the student or the parent. Asking that one good question could be the difference between you being told yes and you being forgot about. I shared this with my son, right? For example, Vanguard University was there. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, they were there, small college, Orange County, right? I'd never heard of them. They're a Christ-centered university and good school, obviously, right? But again, they're very unique in the sense that, biblical teachings are part of their curriculum. So one of the questions that I asked the admissions guy was, have you guys ever been sued, right? Because we're in a very litigious society. And if you stop a person or, as we describe it, discriminate, based on sex or religions or anything like that, there is a possibility. There's some ramifications to that. So I asked him, have they ever been sued? Do they worry about being sued because they have principles that they stand on that are opposite of some people's lifestyle? And the conversation ensued from there. But that question caused him to kind of perk up a little bit. It stimulated some interaction between us that lasted about 10 minutes. And I guarantee you I left an impression just by asking that question. So in your lives, whether it's an interview, a date, or just anywhere, ask one good question, right? Leave your mark. Leave that energy there. And the very last thing I shared was exceed expectations. That seems normal, and I'm certain everybody's heard that, but most people don't know how to do it. It's like, hey, if the company says work 8 hours, you work 9. In your world, you're exceeding expectations. But it's really beyond that. For example, I'm in the world of health and fitness, right? So now if you have a goal of losing 20 pounds, it's very easy to get a person to go from 0 to a 20-pound weight loss. What's very hard is to keep a person going after that, to make it a lifestyle. So in my world, I've exceeded expectations if I've not only met your goal, but now I've turned that goal into a daily habit. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's all about exceeding expectations. Nonetheless, if you combine these 7 things, you will see much more success. You will see yourself standing out. I believe you'll see yourself getting more opportunities. Even if you're not able to hit on all 7, take a few that really grab you. Whether it's exceed expectations, own in a moment, just pick one, right? Just use 1 or 2 of those little tips to accelerate your life, to move your life forward, to get an advantage over, for lack of a better word, your competition. We'll talk about that another time because I don't necessarily believe in competition because we are all really, really unique. Nonetheless, this is Coach James, and we are at the end of this message. Again, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Many more to come. Remember, again, this message is brought to you by our fitness group. It's a 3-day reset, refresh group that's coming up October 26th. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. So if you guys want to sign up, reset your fitness life, it's a great way to lose 2, 3, 4 pounds, 6 pounds in some cases over a 3-day period, really resetting your body, getting ready for whatever fitness goals that you have. So again, think of it like a warm-up or a stretch, but again, a great way to get started. Nonetheless, this is Coach James. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the podcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Take care.